Welcome to Downtown Dialogues. I am Addae Moon, the Associate Artistic Director at Theatrical Outfit, and I am honored to be sitting here in conversation with the wonderful Melissa Foulger, who is the director of Tanya Barfield's Bright Half-Life, which is playing at TO right now. Please come and see it. And also our wonderful artistic director, Matt Torney. So yeah, let's get this conversation started, y'all. So Matt, as we were looking at plays to do for this season, what was it about Tanya's play that made you decide, yes, I want this to be a part of my second season at TO?
Well, this is one of those plays that I just loved from the first time I read it. So it's sort of been eternally on my programming shortlist. Just looking for like the right time, the right moment, the right director, the right kind of like way to produce it. And then the big idea when we were putting the season together was shows that could only be theater experiences, things that you couldn't experience in the film. So it's like the Iliad, engaging with the classics, Baskerville about all the kind of quick changes and actor athletics, and this is like the form. It's not just what it's about, but the way that it's constructed. You need to experience it in a theater, and the audience has to do a lot of work to kind of put all the missing pieces together. So it felt like now was the time to do a play that I'd loved for a very, 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 very long time. And then, of course, like when I met Melissa, I was like, I think that she might be the perfect director for this.
Agreed.
So it all just sort of like wonderfully came together.
Melissa, how about you? What made you take up this gig when Matt offered it to you?
Well, because I fell in love with the script immediately. I've actually read the script a long time ago, and I'd forgotten until recently that it was one of the scripts that I've actually looked at and considered previously as on things that I would like to do. But in rereading it, for me, it is about love. It's about how we experience time. It's about how my long-term relationship sort of feels a lot like this, in that how we remember things is not linear. It's moments. It's crystalline pieces, and so being able to relive that and tell that story was something that was really exciting to me. As a gay woman, it's also really exciting to be able to tell my story, which is not something you see very often. And to be able to sort of write a love letter to my partner was something that was really exciting in the end to me as well. So both pieces really brought me in. Also, I love working at Theatrical Outfit. I think it's a wonderful place to work as well. And that was also a good kicker to get me back over there again.
Awesome. So Matt, your second season.
Yeah.
And I know we talk a lot about not only the stories we love, but the stories that we want to tell at TO. In what ways do you think that Bright Half-Life is a story that's going to push and challenge our audiences to become open to some of the new stories we want to tell?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I look at it less like a push and more like an invitation.
Mm,
Because like our mission is to start the conversations that matter. And the things that kind of support that mission is a deep connection to the city, like a deep connection to place. And I think that a lot of people, when they're programming for theater, do so from a place of fear. Like,
yes.
oh, I've got to kind of repeat the thing that was successful before. I've got to kind of go again with, let's do a revival of, let's bring back. And the thing that I love about this play is that it's a story about love and time. That happens to also be a story about gay relationships, gay marriage over time, looking at how things change through the decades. But in a way, the language we use to talk about difference in the theater is very reductive. Like the phrases "the gay play" or "the black play,"
Right.
and what I'm drawn to are plays that invite us to explore our own humanity and other people's humanities on a much larger canvas. So this is a play about love and time. And on opening night, I described it as I said it explores the mysterious relationship between love and time, because in the play, the characters don't know what's going to happen next. And you see them at the end, and you see them at the beginning, and you see them at every moment in between. And that the knowledge we have and the lack of knowledge that they have creates the artistic connection to it. And then the other thing I said in opening night was that it shows that no one has a monopoly on love. It's truly universal. So my hope is that instead of being a kind of like polemic push towards some form of political inclusion, that the piece is just an invitation to participate in a conversation about humanity, and that everyone has a part to play in that conversation, and that the challenge is more like showing up instead of using the right language or doing that thing. And my hope is that as we continue to program work at Theatrical Outfit, we find stories that are incredibly inclusive, that resonate with everybody's experience, that are so truthful and so human that we all kind of like can see ourselves in it, can lead us inwards. Because when I read this play, I see my own marriage in it. I don't feel myself, I'm not like a spectator at some kind of gay relationship that is so unusual. I'm like, no, I've had that fight. When I proposed, that's what it was like. That's the moment. I remember the day that my daughter was born. That's what it felt like. And I think that if theater can be that place where we are of like fearless togetherness or true consolation, then it makes all of our experience of life bigger. I think. I hope. I think.
No, and
does exactly that.
Yeah, and I think people forget too, that there's an amazing potential for universality from a very specific story. And I think the story is extremely specific, but I think that also opens up a space for us all to find our way in.
Yeah, Park told me that on opening or at a recent performance, some of the audience feedback was everybody needs to see this play because I see myself in it, and I may not be in a gay relationship, but I see my own relationship in it, and understanding that we're all experiencing love, we're all experiencing these things in the same way is a great equalizer for a lot of people who might not necessarily think that. And I thought that was really profound, that those conversations were being held after the performance.
Yeah, it's like that old saying, if you want to know me, walk a mile in my shoes, and the theater allows you to do that. And I think that the way I think about it is the footsteps walking together towards the same place, rather than recognizing this is yours and this is right. I think that's what great theater does, is gives you moments of things that you hold on to and never forget. But if empathy is a tool for social change, it's a tool for social change through understanding.
Right.
It's like it shifts the way your inner world works, or it shifts the way your soul is wired, rather than arms you with a toolbox for understanding difference.
So Melissa, you had some very specific challenges in interpreting this narrative. Could you talk a little bit about some of the challenges, but also some of the things that you and your creative team discovered along the way?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the biggest challenge is considering the time, right? And luckily, I guess, we got to be on Zoom for the first week of rehearsals, which gave us a lot of time to really be able to dig into the script and to figure out what is the timeline if we were to put it in chronological order. And that informed us about, once we took it out of order, where they were emotionally, where they were in time, what their age was. So there were all of those challenges that we had the time to be able to solve because we were stuck in boxes on Zoom. Along with that, we had to figure out place, because the show takes place in so many locations. How do you make something that speaks to all of those places, or allows us to imagine all of those places and move through them quickly and efficiently in order to be able to tell the story with really clean transitions between them? And so working with the designers was really a treat, because we all were really in tune in thinking about, what does the stage look like? How do people move through the stage? What changes do we need to make it work better? How do we cap each moment and make it feel like a place or a moment? And how do we do that with lighting? How do we do that with sound? How do we do that with costumes? When is it important to add a piece of clothing to let us know something? And when does that not matter anymore? So I said the other day in conversation with the actors, when I was talking to them, that this show for me has really been transformative for me as a director, because of the challenges that it posed. I am never one who likes to sit down at a table for a long period of time and work on things, and being forced to do that was difficult for me. But what it did is it really opened up and told me that sometimes is necessary, and that understanding the underlying story of the play sometimes requires more time than not. And so working through all of these challenges, it's made me a better director and a better teacher to my students who I'm teaching directing to as well. So it was a wonderful experience for that.
Yeah, definitely. Final question, Matt, what do you want the audience coming to see this show to leave with?
So I think that great theater leaves you with images, feelings, impressions that you never forget, that you incorporate into your inner world. So what I hope is that audiences walk out of this theater having seen something that they will never forget, having met characters that they will never forget, and having experienced some things in their body that they will remember and carry with them. Like, the hope is that you shift someone's perspective on the world a little bit by showing them something different. You expand something or offer something or deepen something. And often I think that value is very personal, very individual. But that feeling of walking out of the theater having seen something really, really great, really important to you, is, I think, what kind of grounds all of our work. And that's what I hope every show this season, that that there is a takeaway, that there is something kept from this experience that cannot be repeated as live theater thing. There's some private thoughts and feelings and things that will live on.
Yeah. So today, as we're recording this, is Valentine's Day. But as you can see, or maybe you can't see, with Melissa and Matt's clothing, but I think this is a perfect Valentine's Day show. So even if you're listening to this recording after the fact, take your spouse, take your loved one, take your best friend to come experience this wonderful, wonderful narrative about time and about love, that will really be transformative for you when you witness it. I guarantee that. So Melissa and Matt, thank you. Come check out Bright Half Life by Tanya Barfield at Theatrical Outfit. And thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.